Okay, now here's the real test. Can you all still hear me?
Yep.
All right, we made it. Hi, Mickey. Welcome. Sorry about the technical difficulties. It looks like restarting the stream fixed it. So now we're good to go. So we're going to be like kind of going over the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial today. And I'm going to go on camera just a little bit, so it'll be fine. So Ruby's going to kind of recap the trial thus far.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of go over in more detail Monday, Tuesday, and today's happenings, which wasn't much. But yeah, it should be fun. So join in on the chat, and yeah, we'll get going here. Ruby, you can take it away.
Hi, guys. Okay, so first of all, let me just say that we are not professionals. We're not lawyers, but, this is simply just our opinion about the case so far. We are all avid watchers of this case. It's like kind of an obsession, right? And I also want to let you guys know that, abuse is a serious topic. So we're not here to make fun of it or anything like that. We're just here to talk about the case and what we think about Amber and Johnny Depp, separately as people. Yeah. So when it comes to the case, there's some days that are really boring, and then there's some days that are really interesting where like a lot of things have happened. So for example, the first day of the trial, Johnny Depp had his hair down and everybody was like, oh my God, he looks like crap or whatever. And then the next day, I guess he, they told him like, hey, you got to look more professional. So he looked more professional. There was a lot of talk about his attorneys, about how professional they were, and then how Amber's attorneys are not professional at all, and like they don't know what they're doing. But I feel like, we're going to be talking about all this in this live. So far, I guess they've just had like a whole bunch of witnesses on the stand and like pre-recordings of the UK trial, which if you guys don't know what the UK trial is, basically it was Amber suing Johnny Depp. And they have a lot of like pre-recorded testimonials on that, so they've been showing a lot of that, which that's been like the most boring part, I feel. What do you guys think? That's been like the most boring part about this
I think the day has been by far the most boring day. And hi, Robert
I
Pizza.
could not.
I like screamed when I saw your name. I'm glad that you're here. Hi, Jen. Hi, Care Bear, Mickey, everybody else that came in.
Yeah,
you can tell trial. Like the boringness with like I have notes upon notes on other days, and today I have like not even a half page because I could not stay awake. I was conking out. Like I made sure to listen and stay awake during her sister's when she was up there, but like the other people were just the UK fest today.
The UK trial, even when it was airing, the one where Depp had sued the Sun newspaper, was when that was airing, it was boring when they were releasing the stuff about it. It just, I don't know, maybe I'm wondering if just the situation where we were society-wise with everything going on, it just was not something like they didn't have the ability to do it like they are today now.
Yeah. I want to add something real quick. So the reason that this case is very popular right now, and the reason that it's very important, is because there's men who are abused, and these men are scared to speak out about it. It's always said that the woman is always the one being abused, but that's not always the case, right? But the thing is that most of the time the men do not go to court and say, hey, I was abused. I want to sue so-and-so, because it's very scary for them, right? It's sad that a celebrity had to do it, right? It's defamation, but it's still bringing out what happened to him during that relationship that he had with her. So it's bringing out all these things of abuse, and it's kind of like, it's kind of showing these men who are abused that they shouldn't be scared to come out and say that they're abused. So this is why, to me, this trial is very important. And this is why I believe Johnny Depp wanted to show the world this trial, right? Because he chose to show this on TV. They didn't have to broadcast it. Yeah.
So can you take us like all the way back to the very beginning? Like what started all, for those who haven't been following the trial? Like, you don't have to say dates or anything, but like what brought this whole shebang up? Where did it start?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can tell you as far as I know, like somebody.
So
You're the expert.
I honestly do feel like Ruby Q is kind of sort of the expert a little bit, because she does like the crime coverage and stuff, so she's more acclimated to verbiage and
plus I'm going to school for criminal justice.
Yeah, so you are kind of our expert.
Yeah.
Okay. So the whole thing started
more
with,
experience for sure.
Yeah. The first thing, well, it started with them meeting, obviously, right? They met on the movie set of, I forgot what the fuck movie. Sorry, excuse my language.
Oh, it was Rum Diaries.
Rum Diaries. There you go. She was actually married at the time. I believe so, right? She was married to somebody, or she was dating somebody. Was she married? I think she was married.
They were married.
And he was married
said they were married.
Yeah, and Johnny Depp was married to his wife of 13 years. Well, they met on the set, and he cheated on her. They both cheated on their spouse. And then I think it was like a year later is when they got together, I believe, right? Or a couple months later, a year later, something like that. They ended up getting together. Before they even got married, there was like talk of abuse, right? But they still ended up getting married. And the whole thing was that, it was really bizarre. You would see Johnny Depp in, I don't know, red carpets and stuff like that. Whatever he was doing, you would see him with like bruises on his face or on his arm. You would just see physical, like, bruising and scratches on him. But with Amber Heard, you wouldn't really see anything. So it was kind of strange at first. And then it went from that to them getting her getting a restraining order on him because he was being abusive. And then he's a very private man, so he never really spoke out about his life or what was going on. But Amber decided to tell the world that she was being abused by Johnny Depp. So, I mean, this started a whole like fireball going just downhill, right? And I mean, this is not the first time they've been in court together. Okay, they were in court in the UK. And then now Johnny Depp is suing Amber Heard for defamation, and he's suing her for $100 million, but she is trying to sue him for $50 million. So they're both.
He's suing her for $50 million.
I think it's the other way around.
Is it the other way around? Is it 50?
Right, yeah.
100?
It's the other way around. Yeah.
Okay.
She's suing him
both
for 50,
trying to sue each other.
or he's suing her. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, when it comes to defamation, it's not a rare thing to do in court, but it said like, don't do it because it's very hard to win that, right? But Johnny's team, they were like, no, you're going to win this. Like, there's no way you're not going to win. And then, as we've all been seeing, like, I mean, I feel like he's actually winning this after everything that's been coming out. There's more evidence of her being abusive than there's evidence of him being abusive. And then she's getting caught in a lot of lies throughout this whole thing. And it's like, it's not looking good for her,
Yeah. Care Bear wants to know, did they both have addiction issues?
I feel like they both did, yes. Johnny Depp was an alcoholic. He did do drugs. And I feel like when you hang out with people like that, you're going to start doing things like that, especially if it's someone that you're close to, like your spouse or your significant other. You're bound to do it if you allow it. So she allowed it. So yeah, she would do it too. They were both doing drugs and drinking and doing all this stuff.
She already had a history of doing substances and everything with her sister before she even met Johnny. And of course, Johnny's been doing it since the 80s. So
yeah.
Sorry,
and he doesn't deny either.
Real quick, so we're gonna shut down the drama in the chat. That's side drama, because us three have worked pretty hard on this live and taking notes, and we love hanging out with you all, but you will not bring that drama to my channel. Like, I'm not bashing anyone, not
I didn't
saying I'm
even
taking
see it.
sides. You won't bring it here.
Don't-
That I can guarantee you. Anyway, so I feel like there was maybe some substance addiction from both parties. However,
I agree.
I've only heard Johnny openly talk about him using any substance. And I feel like he was honest. He said, yeah, I've done coke. I've done whatever that weird MD, I don't know what it's called.
It's Molly.
Well, okay, Molly, I don't know. If I say I did Molly, I'm talking about a hot blonde chick. So I don't know. What was I talking about? Oh, but he's honest about it. Like when asked, Amber can do no wrong.
She don't know how to say yes or no.
Right. But as far as knowing about confirmed substance abuse, I've only heard that about Johnny.
Yeah.
Well, she admitted to doing cocaine.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you consider that addiction, though? I mean, I don't know.
But she continuously does it, though. Like, she does it throughout her stories and stuff like that. So,
fair.
I don't know if I would I mean, I can't say that she's an addict because she has never said that. It appears that she has issues with drugs. He has come out and said he is. So I think there's that, like,
we can only go based off what they've said about themselves.
Exactly.
Everything else is just speculation or hearsay.
Yeah. One thing I want to bring up that I think is super noticeable is how detailed she is when she's on the stand, how detailed she is about her abuse. Well, there's actually two things. Let's start with the way that Johnny Depp has not looked up at her. When someone is abused, when someone is physically or mentally abused, they're at this point where they're in court. That person does not want to look at that person. That person doesn't even want to talk to that person. That person doesn't want to be anywhere near that person, right? So when you first see the start of this trial, even up to now, it's been 18 days now, he doesn't look at her at all. Nope. Whereas she looks at him because so that kind of just shows you right there, like, who really is a victim of this? You know what I'm saying? Another thing is, when I was saying earlier that she's very detailed in the things that she's saying, like she kind of rehearsed it in her head to say it the way that she is.
Oh my God, yeah.
So, for example, she'll be like, instead of saying he hit me in the head with a door, she'd say, I stepped to the left, I went forward, and then he was there, and I was like, Johnny, what are you doing? And then he hit me with the door, but he slightly opened it. Like, she's so detailed to the point where it's like, dude, we know you're an actress, and this sounds so fake, because if you were a victim of abuse, you would not remember that much detail. You would not remember that much detail. And I know this for a fact. Like, you would not remember that much detail. And
no,
she does this the first day.
Remembers. The details she remembers are not the details that she would remember.
From how long ago, too? Like, are all these incidents 6 years? And you remember the dirty carpet of all things?
The only thing
I know
remember.
That was like, oh my God! Like, what does that even have to do with what the hell?
And it's almost like you're reading a drama novel. You know how those authors, like, they're depicting a scene so the reader can visualize it. Now, correct me. We talked about like what started this whole thing. Now, this lawsuit that we're seeing in trial has been 6 months, a year, 2 years in the making, kind of.
It's been a few. He filed 2 lawsuits, one against the Sun, because they posted a news story back in February of 2018, towards the beginning of 2018.
Yeah.
With the headline, Johnny Depp is saying that he's a wife beater.
Well, and I think that's also op-ed. Yeah, that's the main.
The Sun, the UK newspaper, posted saying Johnny Depp is a wife beater. This was earlier on in the year. It wasn't until later that year that Amber published the op-ed.
Yeah,
he had sued the Sun for defamation, and that lawsuit had to take place in the UK, and that took place last year. And then it's been longer, or it's been about as long for him to get his lawsuit with Amber to go through and going through it now because she kept fighting it. She kept trying to postpone it. And the reason that the lawsuit is taking place in Virginia is because the op-ed was published in Washington, D.C., so it takes place in Virginia due to the location of where the op-ed was published.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for those real quick who have just came in, we are covering the Johnny Depp trial. We're kind of now just summarizing, I would say, the overall thing, because I think like this subject in particular, I have not been involved in domestic violence myself. So if I ever speak ignorant about subjects' feelings, then that's why. Like I hit him sometimes, but I'm sure that's completely different.
I've actually been learning a lot about it in my class. So thus far.
I'm trying to put myself in some of these situations, but you know,
it's hard.
It's kind of hard to think like, how would I feel if I don't know. So I don't know those feelings from experience. If you're in the chat now and you'd like to share with us, we would love to hear it. But also for those who came in, we are kind of like talking amongst each other. Like I have you guys here and then chat over here. So if I missed something, I'm very sorry. Please repeat it. But anyone in blue could probably help direct you all and stuff. And Crafting Journey is in the chat now, and he's a lawyer. Now she does hospital stuff. So I don't, but maybe she knows about objection hearsay.
See, I like what DP Addiction Adventure says. She said, if you remember the dirty floor, that's all you remember, because when abused, that may be all you remember. Okay, that is true. That's very true. Like there's things that you will block out of, how do you say it? Usually your brain blocks trauma, right? And that's totally like, you're right. But there's been things that she has said after the fact that kind of make it seem like she's lying about what she's saying. And I mean, if she wasn't doing these things, because there's things that she said and then it comes out that it was a lie, right? Now it's kind of like, well, what? I don't know. It just seems like she doesn't even know what she's saying sometimes. Like she's just speaking like in the moment, and she's been caught up a lot like by Johnny Depp's attorneys, where she slips up and says something like, she mentioned Kate Moss, right? And they were like, oh heck yeah, because they weren't even gonna bring her up, but since she opened that door for them, it's like she was just like kind of word vomiting when she was up there at sometimes. So you know, I mean it just doesn't, I mean, and also like the evidence, like everything that they've shown, so for instance, there's a picture of her where she has that bruise on her face right here, right on her cheek.
Ooh, yes.
And
she
then
does. And I
so
have
that it was like one day, yeah, there you go. Okay, there's that picture right there.
This was the controversy with the lighting.
Yes.
I think that's more, but there is controversy with this photo as well, with speculations that it was from Botox. And I mean,
well, no, here's the thing. So that picture that you're showing right now, that was on a day that she went to trial, right? The UK trial. It was one of the days that she went on trial, and she had that mark on her face. The next day, she was out with Rocky, right? And she was all smiles, and that mark was gone from her face. There was no mark on her face. How is it that overnight a mark like that would just disappear?
Well, really, because of makeup.
And
you put the foundation on first, and then the concealer. Beth, you're going off about something, but you're muted, so it's hella funny. I just gotta tell you. I didn't mute her.
My bad.
You were like,
sorry. I was muting it because my family was.
No, you are so good. Go ahead.
Have either of you guys had a broken nose?
No, that's another thing. And in the chat too, I do want to point out that DP Addiction Adventure is a trauma specialist, so she actually may be able to offer some different insight on this whole thing. Sure. Just like the whole carpet thing. I thought that was ridiculous, but then she explained the victim of trauma. Maybe that's all you remember.
Fair enough. With a broken nose, I can tell you that covering that up would be near impossible, and it would be so painful. So painful because you get black eyes like all through here, and the swelling like right here where it dips in, that is there for at least a week. I remember she said about it. She said
the day after.
She didn't have nothing.
And she said that the makeup covered it, and that it did. And then she said, you'd be surprised how little swelling there is after a beating like that. She really said that. And I didn't get beat when I broke my nose, but it was, and both black eyes and everything. So I don't. Yeah.
See, that's not even the part that gets me. Like, not just the visual thing on the James Corden's show, but I've never had a broken nose, but I've had my nose pierced, and I could tell you, pain in the nose sucks. So when she was on that show, though, not only did she look hot as hell, like normal, because Amber Heard, she's a weirdo, but she's hot. Okay, you can't deny that. But she looked great. But she was explaining how she was an ungraceful dancer, and she was like with her hands describing stuff, and then she makes this face like that. You're telling me, like, if you just broke your nose, you could scrunch it up like this?
No.
But then when she was questioned about it, just how we're talking about it, when she was questioned about it, then she says, no, it hurt so bad I thought it was broken.
Right.
So the story changed.
A lot of backpedaling. And
when it gets broken, it's so swollen inside you can't even breathe through your nose at all.
Yeah.
So the way she was acting, talking, laughing, that would have been literally near impossible. I mean, you'd have to have some, like, I don't know, high pain tolerance, even with pain meds, because that's just crazy.
And another thing, though, on both sides are doing okay sometimes with their lawyers. And, there's times Johnny has said things that I'm kind of like, I don't know, like when he sat up there and said, I have never hit a woman.
Yep.
I don't know if I 100% believe him in that, because if you're in a relationship with how Amber Heard is being portrayed to be, it's highly likely at some point you get pushed to a point.
Yeah,
I will respectfully disagree.
I don't know. I kind of have to. I'm kind of gonna have to a little bit disagree with that statement, because there's this. If you watched his testimony, right? He talks about how his mother was very abusive to him, and she was a terrible mother to him, right? And what did his dad do? His dad would literally just walk away, would not defend him, would not fight with his mother, which is his dad's wife, right? He would just walk away, go to the bathroom, stay in the bathroom, chill, whatever. Leave the house. He even left the family at one point because he just couldn't handle it no more. But Johnny Depp said he never laid a hand on my mother. He just walked away. So if you think about it, when you grow, I mean, I'm not a specialist in this, but I've known of cases where kids grow up to be just like their parents, not even in the sense where if a parent beat up a parent, that's how they're going to be. No, it's even how their reaction was. Like, for example, Johnny Depp said, I never hit a woman, but it might have been true because his dad never hit his mom. So what his dad did was he would leave. So what did Johnny Depp do? Mm-hmm. He would always leave. He would go to the bathroom. He would lock himself in. And there's plenty of evidence in those audio tapes that state that that's what he did, because Amber Heard would be like, why are you leaving? Why are you leaving? Come back. Or are you just going to hide in the bathroom?
I don't doubt that he would leave, and I don't doubt that he tried to leave, but there are also so many instances where she would corner him and be attacking him. Again, he may be telling the truth, 100% never strike a woman, but I would think 5 years of this woman attacking you, cornering you, not letting you get away. I mean, at the same time, I've got a different definition of hit than other people do.
Yeah.
Like,
I did not punch you. I hit you.
To me,
there's a difference between self-defense and hitting. Like,
to me,
maybe he did
put his hands pushing on her, like to get away from somebody.
Yeah, and to me, like if Crashley were coming at me, punching is punching, slapping is slapping. To me, both of them are hits. And if she's coming at me and I do this to push her away, but it's not a push, it's a get away, and it's hard, that's a hit. To me. I've got...
See, that's then that would be self-defense. So that way when he said, I've never struck a woman, he has... Yeah. I wouldn't consider that striking a woman.
Well, here's the thing. This is what I say. If it doesn't matter who, like if it's a man or a woman, if you're gonna lay hands on somebody and they're gonna defend themselves, it's called self-defense. If a woman hits a man and is beating the shit out of that man, and that man hits that woman back, you deserve that shit, because you should not be putting your hands on anybody. That's how I'm raising my boys too. Like, yes, you do not put your hands on women. You do not put your hands on men. If a woman or a man put hands on you and there's not, like, they're just beating the shit out of you, guess what? Go ahead, go at it. Yeah,
and I get that it's self-defense. I'm talking solely on a testimonial standpoint. You know, it would be like if someone's sitting on the stand, somebody's shooting a gun at you in your house, and you pull your gun out and you shoot them in self-defense. You're sitting on a stand, somebody goes, have you ever shot at somebody? Even though it was self-defense, yes, you have. To me, it's a matter of whether it's self-defense or not, have it. And when you're on the stand and you say, I have never hit a woman, when he was in that, like, part of me goes, I understand there's a there's a vocabulary involved in that, but it to me, it makes it a little bit unbelievable. Now, if he would have said,
also the way what he thinks, like you were saying, that isn't a hit, but maybe to him, he doesn't think that is. So he would say, I've never hit a woman, because he doesn't consider what he did to get her off striking a woman.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. I was gonna say,
in his mind, he probably is saying, I never struck a woman, but did I smack her to get her off of me? Heck yeah. And why wouldn't you know?
Yeah.
Well, she probably hasn't done everything she did either.
So,
I mean, she's the person that feels donating and pledging are the same thing.
Well, my God, this whole thing, like this whole case, like I like what Crafting Journey said. I know it's funny, like it's true. Like, it's both of these people were abusive to each other. It doesn't matter if it was, I mean, like, I don't know, but physical and mental is abuse is still abuse, right?
Yeah.
So Johnny Depp is not 100% innocent here.
No.
He is in a sense where he probably did not put his hands on her, and he did walk away from a lot of shit, but he still did the things that he did. Like, he admits to doing some things, right?
Yeah.
You do hear the audio where he's yelling at her and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just that he has such a high celebrity stance in Hollywood that everybody's like, Team Johnny Depp, right? And I'm not gonna lie, I love Johnny Depp. I love all the Tim Burton movies he's been in. He's like the best, right? But me, like, personally, I just feel like they were both caught up in a toxic relationship that they both shouldn't have been in.
Yes, absolutely. It was extremely toxic, both sides. I mean, he might not have hit her, but he's slamming things. Did he break things? Sure, they're his own things, but he, you can see
violence
stuff. That is still, abuse when you're in a conversation and you're running around smacking things to where they're breaking. He might not have hit her, but he's not an innocent bystander by any means.
See, in my thing, and again, this is where there's somewhat of a definition situation. To me, slamming, if that is abuse, if what he did in that kitchen during that video is abuse, then I abuse her. Because when I walk in this kitchen and all the cabinets are open, I guarantee you every person in this house is going to hear those cabinets shut, so they know, stop leaving them open. I'm tired of hitting my head on them.
I think
if there was glass, though, would the glass break? When you slammed it, would the glass all be breaking?
They're all wooden.
They're all wooden. If they were glass,
if they were.
I've broken my car door window slamming my car door when somebody angered me. But that, because the thing is, and I don't know if it's like this for everybody, but this is how it is for me, right? When I get pushed to a point with anger on situations, it's the channel. You get some people screaming to a pillow. Well, you're still screaming. Walk away and scream. You're still screaming. Punch a pillow. You're still punching something.
But you're doing that where you're not hurting anybody. You're not showing that to anybody, though. There's a difference
if they
between
you, then
or terrified.
If they followed you, you don't know. And see, that's my thing. Right. She wasn't terrified of him in that video.
No, she wasn't.
He got right up in her face to pour his mega pint, and she was more worried about him realizing she was recording him than she was about him doing anything to her. there was terror
You
there.
gotta
So
look
to
at
me,
the context of why he was doing that. He wasn't just doing that to do it. He was doing it because he
Well,
was in
that's
a
the thing is
meeting
like,
about him losing his money. Of course,
Yeah.
anyone's gonna be pissed off when they're losing their money. So he went home. He was mad. He was expressing himself. He was pissed, right? Whatever. I'm gonna fucking punch a wall. I'm gonna close this damn drawer, whatever. And she was like, "This is my opportunity to record him and act like it's because of me." And I mean, did you see her in court when she like flinched when when they showed the image of them closing the drawer? She flinched, but she didn't flinch in that video. You know what she did? She laughed in that video afterwards. After he threw her phone, which he shouldn't have done, but he did, she kind of laughed. So she wasn't scared. She just did that because she was vindictive and she's petty.
Well, yeah, and in that little recording, she I couldn't get over that Depp said, did something happen to you today? Did something happen to you? And I'm just like, what happened? But
yeah,
like to Kerwin's point, like when you're in a relationship and somebody pushes you to that level, I don't think he laid his hands on her as far as striking her. You know, I would believe wholeheartedly that he would soften a blow in some way. But if you listen to what his ex-wife, says, like, she was just shocked by these allegations. Like, I've never known Johnny to be a violent person in any way. So these videos that we're seeing of him slamming cabinets, yelling, cuss words, or calling her a used trash bag, which is my personal favorite. All these things. I think that would be him being pushed, because I don't feel like he would have acted like that before her.
Yeah.
Because what the ex-wife's like, can't imagine a violent bone in his body. That's just my personal take on it.
Yeah. And another thing that I do is I look at what's going on in the courtroom, what's going on with their testimony, what's going on with their evidence, but I also look at who they are as individuals. And a lot of people are, they look at Amber and, oh, her dad was abusive to her. Johnny's this big, celebrity. Yeah, Johnny's a big celebrity, but as Ruby Q said, stated earlier, he was abused as a child, and then being an '80s child star is not what I mean. It's already been well known. Being an '80s child star was not stardom. There were issues. And then to get to the point he got by the early '90s, to be able to own a nightclub, to start being prominent and start your fame come, and then sit there and watch your best friend die right in front of you and deal with that trauma. Johnny was traumatized when River died. And the press wouldn't.
Who the hell is River? And who
Phoenix.
names their kid River? Sorry,
Phoenix.
that's
I have no idea what.
I know there's a Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix is River Phoenix's little brother.
And that's Johnny Cash.
River Phoenix was a child, was an '80s star as well. He was one of Johnny Depp's best friends.
So are you talking about like the shit that Johnny Depp has been through that maybe caused him to be the way that he is now?
Yes, just with how you talked earlier about how his dad would walk away. So he's got a lot of this. He's got a lot of that taught to him, and then growing up in the Hollywood spotlight. He was only a teenager when he was in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep.
He was in his early 20s when he got 21 Jump Street. He was able, but at the same time, he was friends with all these child stars. Like River Phoenix was in Stand By Me, Stephen King's Stand By Me. He played young Indiana Jones in Indiana Jones: Last Crusade. Just numerous movies. He was Christina Applegate's boyfriend. Ended up ODing and dying at Johnny's nightclub. And the press would not leave. It got to a point where Johnny left the country. He up and left the country. And then on top of that, he had the high profile relationships. He had the Winona Ryder relationship prior to that. He had the Kate Moss relationship. And then the whole situation with his parents, I don't know if towards the end of his relationship with his kid's mom, if they got married, but I do know that for like the first 7 to 8 years of his relationship with his ex, the one he was with before he got with Amber, they did not marry because he, one, did not want to repeat the marriage of his parents, and two, he felt that marriage was not needed to show that you love someone and wanted to be with someone.
Well, damn, he got a rude awakening then, because he left his wife for this chick, and this chick ruined his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
who were the original witnesses, like before Amber? Like, I know we heard from both psychologists. We heard from, it seemed like one was primarily Johnny's and one was primarily Amber's. Who did we have before that? We started out with his childhood friend, right?
There was a lot. I mean, seriously, there were so many witnesses
There's
that
been
I don't
so
even remember
many.
their names.
Mhm. Well, I think that my
Yeah,
personal
there
favorite
was a
was the
ton.
first one. I can't remember his name though. But he was Johnny's childhood friend. And I tell you what, Amber's lawyers are kind of, what's the right word?
They're dumb.
They're inexperienced.
They're
And so I
dollar
think-
store. They're dollar store lawyers.
What's Amber's main lawyer's name?
I don't know, but I can't stand her, and it's like
Hoodemaker?
nails on a chalkboard.
Buttermaker? Hoodemaker? Schumacher? I don't remember.
The guy or the girl?
Breaded Hopper? Breadmer? I'm
The
getting
girl.
I'm getting there.
The
Bredenheimer?
the girl is the main
Something
lawyer.
like that. Well, and I love the guy's name, Rottenborn.
Rottenborn.
So with that witness was my favorite because I don't think he's ever been in court before or something, but he was so funny. And I think Bredenheimer Minerbader, whatever Amber's main lawyer is, was like trying to get at bruises on Amber's face and was asking him about how he kissed her and greeted her. And so the lawyer's like, you know, when you said that you greeted Amber, you said that you just gave her a kiss like this on the cheek. And then she was like, and then later when you were explaining, you did kisses like, and then he goes, I don't understand anything that you just did. And it was just the funniest crap. It's like, I know this is a serious case. I get it, but the characters,
But there's funny stuff that's happening. I mean,
there
Johnny
is,
Depp
and it's
has
like
made...
for these lawyers to be hired by celebrities, you would think that like
They'd
they've
be
represented
smarter.
celebrities before, you know, and they got to be some sort of credited, you know, professionals for celebrities to. But man,
hey Crash, do you have that video I sent you? Do you have the clip of
one aspect of that
real when quick, she gets up and leaves?
Yeah,
real quick
I'll get it
before
ready.
that, while she's getting that video. One aspect about this is we do look at it and try to go, okay, so these lawyers, since they're representing celebrities. However, we cannot make the assumption that they've represented celebrities before.
Right.
Because the case takes place in Virginia. Well, with the way we work here in the US, you have to have passed the bar
In that
and
state.
be an instated lawyer for that state. So there's no guarantee that these lawyers have, you know, that there's a plethora of lawyers in Virginia that are high profile lawyers.
Yeah.
Honestly, it could just be to the point that those are the lawyers at the highest reputation that Amber was able to get. And they're just somewhat inexperienced in a high profile case like this. They're only used to going up against lawyers they're used to going up against.
But they should know the terms and how to ask a question.
He objected his own question.
You know, she literally was like, this is the thing that drove me the most nuts about that lawyer is she whined. She literally would whine to the judge. But judge, it's how is that? And then she was like, I'm trying here. Like she didn't know how to ask a question without saying, what was her saying all the time?
She stutters a lot.
What if any?
What if any? Every freaking
Well, the reason, so when it comes to the court and stuff like that, they have to say it a certain way. So the only way that it was acceptable for her to ask was for her to say it that way. So it's not that she didn't know what she was doing. It's just that she had to ask it that way so it wasn't hearsayed or objectified.
Yeah. But the question she was asking was still hearsay. And the judge literally said, saying that isn't a cure-all. And she's like, well, yes, it is. Did you hear that part?
She argues with the judge so much that the judge is fed up with her shit.
I know. I'm just
it's like
I mean,
very disrespectful.
That's a part that so disrespectful.
And then her other lawyer objecting to his own question. He was so used to saying hearsay. Johnny was fed up. I think he got objected to hearsay. He was like learning, I think, the terms just by context. Because I remember he was like, we were at a restaurant and the waiter said to me, then he stopped. Oh, I guess that's hearsay, huh? And I was like, he's just so funny.
A big part
when
of
he
it
read
too.
that one letter, he said something about, well, I read, like, he cracked me up so many.
You keep freezing up, Shine.
Yeah, you keep freezing up.
Juice.
Oh, she froze.
Whoa.
What's in that drink, Beth?
Is that a mega pint?
It's a mega pint.
This is a mega pint.
So the video, do you have it up, Crash?
Yeah, I have it ready.
Okay, I want to talk about what happens in this clip.
Okay, so we want to play the clip first, right?
Yeah, play where not like so right before she walks off, where where her defense attorney is looking through the papers and says, "I have nothing."
Well, it's a minute-long video, so I'm just gonna play the whole thing.
All right.
Okay, so just a second here. Share screen, and I want to do not that one, this one, and share system audio. Okay. Okay, now let's mute ourselves while the clip is playing. Only because there's echo, if not.
Next question. Next question.
Yeah, okay. I don't have any more questions, Your Honor.
All right, Donkey. All right. Ma'am, you can have a seat next to your attorney, okay? You can go and have a seat next to her. That's fine. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take our afternoon recess then for 15 minutes. Do not discuss the case with anybody and don't do any outside research, okay? All right, is your next witness a live witness, remote witness, or deposition? Deposition. All right, so we'll get the TV set up for that, and let's just come back then at 3:30, okay? All right, thank you.
All right. So let's break down what the hell just happened in that, okay? So first of all, Amber's defense attorney was so fed up with Camille being like, you know, objectifying and hearsaying or whatever the hell she was doing, right? She was cutting her off the whole time. She was so fed up that she was like, I have nothing else. She could have asked more questions. Did you see those 2 pages that she flipped? But she was like, I'm not doing that shit. So she said, no more questions. I have no more questions, right? Well, because she said that, you see, Amber got really pissed off. And instead of going back to sit down with her attorneys, she literally walked out of the courtroom. And it's like, you do realize that is very disrespectful to the jury.
Yeah. You
Like,
wait for the jury to leave.
Always.
And I'm like, how do you think you're going to win this with disrespecting the people who are supposed to hear your side and are supposed to be like the reason whether or not you win or lose this?
Yeah.
And on top of it, she keeps talking, like she's being asked questions and she keeps talking answering them to the jury, like the jury won't understand what she's saying.
She's putting on a show.
Yeah.
And the other thing she did that was disrespectful to the judge was when somebody would object and she would say sustained, she kept talking. I don't know how many times the judge had to look at Amber and say, if they, object, you have to stop talking.
They told her, she told her
that.
4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Now I did find a clip of that cross. Do we want to watch just a little bit of it? It's like an 18-minute clip, so it won't be all.
Yep.
But that's all the time that her lawyer basically had. See, like what happened. The Vasquez did the cross, right? So she's asking the questions, and then her attorneys have a chance to basically answer for the cross kind of thing.
It's called redirect. And basically what it is the way you've got the witness's attorney, Amber's attorney would go up and do a normal testimony, get all the stories out there. then Depp's team gets to do the cross, where they get to stand up and dive deeper and try to twist all the answers they got, or at the same time show their evidence. And that's when you want quick, concise yeses and nos. You want to show, have them hear a soundbite, and then go, does the soundbite say that you are hitting Johnny, admitting to hit Johnny? They want a yes or no. They don't want any explanation. They want a yes or no. And at the same time, Amber's team doesn't want explanation, because they don't want to open up the door for accidentally saying something that can incriminate them more.
Right.
But you want a yes or no, because if it says yes, then boom, it's right there. Yes. Okay, we've got audio. You agree. You admit that you hit Johnny. And then after the cross, then her lawyer gets to go up for the redirect. And basically it's anything that Amber would have said to explain the situation, to explain the context. That is the time that her lawyer would get to turn around and say, okay, now, yes, that's what you said, but what was the context of that audio? What were you talking about? And that way you can redirect the answer back to your favor. And the problem is Amber's lawyer was trying to do it more of a normal testimony / cross-examination than a redirect. And that is one of the terms that was used by Camille was that is outside the scope. Yeah. Meaning this question has nothing to do with my cross-examination. This is out of the scope of redirect, and so on. And during a redirect, you have to have your objection game going. You want to object and get as little information out of the witness as possible from them to their lawyer, so what you just got done doing doesn't get turned and twisted around.
Right. I have something to say really quick on when we were talking about Amber being disrespectful, because I watched like lawyers' reactions, and then I've watched a lot of body language specialists, and they have commented so many times on the way she appears, and the way she's sitting, and the way where she's looking, even to the point where like she has that there's like a suitcase next to her, and the lid or the handle is actually up, which like he was saying gives people like messages without even realizing that she doesn't care about this, and she's just too good for it and wants to just leave. And I'm not going to go over all of the things they said, but there were so many things that she does that show she feels like she's too good for this. She doesn't, I don't know. She thinks she's like the queen or something. I don't know.
She feels like she's untouchable and she can do whatever the hell she wants. But then she's shut down.
She's a woman, and how dare a man can't get abused. She's a woman, and so why are we here? Basically, is how she acts.
And she's got her script from working with her lawyer and on how to say and what to say. And when Camille makes her go off script and makes her not say what she has practiced to say, it frustrates her and upsets her. And then when her lawyer gets up there and tries to get, she feels like she has that ability to say, oh, I can say my script now, I can say my lines. And then the objection keeps happening and she can't say her lines. And then when her lawyer is just like, I'm done, and walks off, you can tell it complete and totally straight up diva. Sorry for the term to anybody, but that it's Hollywood star diva behavior. I was supposed to say my lines. You wouldn't let me say my lines. I'm leaving the room.
Mm-hmm. I have a question really quick, because now I know there's a difference between criminal cases and like this kind of a case. And I was asking my husband, and he was like, well, that doesn't make sense. But she is not supposed to be, they've said it a couple times. I've heard other people say it, where Amber is not supposed to be talking to her lawyers about it when she's being on stand. Is that true?
Well, so I think during breaks she can, but they can't have like some sort of sign language situation going on, like where like she can't be coached with her answers while she's on the stand. She could prep with her, attorneys before she's questioned. But as far as
on a break though,
while she's allowed to meet with her counsel on a break.
On a break, yes. Off a break, on a break, when she is a party in the lawsuit, or even if it was a criminal suit, she is a party.
That's what I thought.
But so she can communicate about this situation with her lawyers. Now, while she's a witness on the stand, she is not to, and it's in any case, while on the stand, they are not supposed to be communicating with their attorneys, because at that point they're under oath, and that's why you have prep work. That's why you sit down with your lawyers. You go over question after question after question after question. Anything that could be brought up, you go through all the discovery. What could they have? What do they have? What would they ask you about it? And you sit there and you do all kinds of role play with your lawyer before you even go up there and sit down as a witness. So you can be prepared for whatever the other lawyer throws at you. Because once you're up there, you cannot take direction from your attorney. And that's why there is an objection for leading the witness. Because your attorney can't go, okay, so tell me about that time that you were riding a horse down the... You're setting up the story, not at that point, not the witness. And then you also, and that's why you've got foundation and leading as objections, because they have to be able, the witness has to be the one leading everything. And there has to be a build up to why it went there. The moment you skip steps, it's the lawyer being in control of the narrative.
Well, we're down to 30 minutes before Sister Tia goes live. So let's kind of transition to what happened this week, I guess. So we finished up Amber's cross. What was that, on Monday? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we can, I don't know. What did you, they talk a lot about the pledge versus donated thing, which I thought was quite comical. So the whole point of when Amber Heard and Johnny Depp got divorced, there was $7 million settlement for the divorce. And Amber claimed she didn't want any money. She doesn't need it, doesn't want it. So she claimed, she pledged to donate the entirety of her settlement to 2 different charities, split up between the 2. I don't remember the 2. It doesn't matter. So she pledged it to them. So there's difference between pledge and actually donated, which was the point that I think Vasquez was getting at. Like, did you donate the money? And Amber just kept saying, yes, I pledged the entirety. And Amber kept saying, I consider pledge and donate synonymously. And Vasquez was like, I do not, because they're not the same. Like, what did that one guy say on that video? Like, you don't say, I donated allegiance to the flag of the United States. Like, they're just not the same. And you know what? I even think that it would be different if Amber went on these networks and talked about how she pledged the entirety. Like, used that word while she was interviewing, like being interviewed, on these TV shows and talking about it. But she didn't use the word pledged during that time. She used the word donated while she was being interviewed because she wanted the good publicity. She even said, naturally everyone wants good publicity. Sure, but that's a lie. Like, you can't say to the public, I donated this, and then come to court and say, yeah, because I pledged it. You didn't use pledge while you were being interviewed about it, right? I just thought that whole thing was so ridiculous.
Well, the kicker there too is there's a lot of video and talk out there saying, oh, she's so stupid for not knowing the difference. She knows the difference. If she can sit up there and say that she was instantly jumping on the situation that Johnny was paying the ACLU and the Children's Hospital the donations instead of sending the money directly to her. But her reasoning was, because he wants the tax benefit of donating it. He wants the tax benefit of it. She knows that either that or is she claiming $7 million donations every year on her taxes because she's pledged it? No, she knows the difference between pledge and donations. She was just trying to twist it around in her favor, and it did not come out right at all.
Yeah, and there was drama. Like, Johnny said, well, since you told the whole world that you're going to be donating it, why don't I just give my settlement money to these charities directly.
Yep.
Miss Heard did not like that. No. Miss Heard said, no, you're not going to do that, and you're not going to get the tax benefit of it. But Miss Heard wants nothing. Miss Heard wants nothing from Johnny Depp, but she's awfully concerned about this tax credit. So she wants a little something. She wants good publicity. She wants her name back, which I got to say, her name's not coming back. I don't care.
She's done.
I don't care if she has a video that shows Johnny kicking her ass and her have a bloody nose. I don't care if that video is shown. She's over.
She
done.
did 100%.
Guaranteed Johnny gets more famous from it too.
She did 100%
All eyes are on him.
testify in that cross-examination. She testified 100% that the reason she said she was donating the money was because she wanted to clear her name because there was so much negative publicity about it.
Did you
But
guys
she didn't want the cameras. She didn't want the cameras in there though, and Johnny's team had to fight to get the cameras in there because all he wanted.
In this one, she didn't want the cameras. She, in her eyes, this case is pointless. She said it herself. She goes, "We've already had this case."
Yeah. No, and okay. So a lot of you might disagree with me on this, but defamation cases, I know they're really hard to win on either side, but like, even if neither one of them walk out with money, I would be okay with that as long as Amber doesn't walk out with a penny of his money. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because yes, I know, like, I don't believe that he abused her, like, and hit her and kicked her and all that crap that she accuses him of, especially with with the bottle. That is a huge, like, that makes me sick that she says that, but yet she doesn't need medical attention, even though she was, BLEEDING from her hoo-ha, like, and you don't need a doctor.
Well,
Her
all right, look,
testimony on that has
listen. So
changed, too.
when it comes to that, I will say this. I will say this. Like, there is no evidence that he did that and that he didn't do that. We can't say that.
Very true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even if she
Very
didn't,
true.
I mean, think about it. My husband actually put this seed in my head when I was talking to him about it. He goes, "What woman do you know is gonna take a picture, or of her whatever after she's been, you know what I'm saying?"
I don't think she should have took a picture.
Well, what the whole point of that was because she was taking pictures of like the wall, about like the blood and all that, but she didn't take any pictures of her injuries. So people are like, "Oh, it didn't happen," but we don't know that.
Well,
no, that's right. We don't know anything for sure.
Convenient. That's convenient.
It's convenient, but you know what? I wouldn't want a picture down there, but I would definitely seek medical attention.
That's
If somebody did that to me, I don't want a picture of that, but I'm gonna go and go to the doctor and make sure there was no damage done.
I guess
down
I'm not
there.
Speaking for her, I think I'm speaking more for like women who say that they are and people don't believe them. That's what I'm trying to say. Not about her.
What I look at, what I look at isn't the picture situation. I look at her.
It's so frustrating with this case, though. It's because it's going to make women who come forward, it's going to have this stigma like, oh, well, she's Amber Hearding it or whatever. That's the part that really pisses me off, is that she's making it harder for real victims.
Well, can we just talk for a moment about this whole story with the bottle? So according to Amber, the bottle was administered forcefully into her body. So how tall would you say Johnny Depp is? Ballpark?
I have no idea.
5'5"-ish. Amber Heard.
He's not super tall, but
he's 5'5", and then Amber Heard is 5'11".
I was gonna say she's
okay. Now let's look at body type, and this doesn't mean anything for sure, but for somebody to have one hand with said bottle here, the other hand holding a woman who is much taller, around her neck, so she doesn't even have a good grip on her. You're telling me that he was able with one hand to take a a bottle. That's a big old thing going the we could push stuff out of there, but it don't go in the same way, ladies and gentlemen. It don't go. That's not how that works.
That was 5'10".
So, excuse me, 5'10". And how tall is Amber Heard?
She's got to be 5. She's got to be between 5'8" and 5'11".
All
She's
I'm
taller than
saying, like, thinking of it, like, play by play here, I don't foresee that whole thing going
happening.
down.
Well,
Okay,
and
so
with
here's
the
what
length
I
and
was
the
gonna say,
tallness,
right?
the
This is what I was gonna
strength
say.
that he would have,
Thank you for the super chat, Tia. Thank
the
you.
strength he would have to reach her neck and pin her down, and do that without her being able to kick him or push him or anything.
How hard it is to get something that big. Like,
This is what I was talking about. Her
And it didn't
testimony
hurt. It
changes.
didn't hurt. It just felt pressure. Excuse me? No. If you are sticking something like that in your hoo-ha, it's going to hurt. Like, you're not just going to feel pressure. That made no sense either.
Unless she's
Look, listen. This bitch is Gone Girling it, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, didn't that happen in Gone Girl?
I believe
don't know.
so. There's been a lot of talk about her copying different scripts, movies, and all sorts of
that
stuff.
literally happens in Gone Girl. She
Does
does it
it
to herself to make it seem like she was, you know what I'm saying? Did you guys? Okay, I wanted to say this earlier. Did you guys notice how from day 1 and day 2 of her testimony, how her whole like character changed?
Yes.
How she was
every day.
Very like her facial expressions were so dramatic and everything, and then they must have told her like, you need to stop that shit because you're over exaggerating and people are not going to believe you. And then she came back and she was like calm.
There was no tears.
What it is,
she's crying without tears or snot too.
They had the week-long break in between her testimonies.
Yeah.
And this is one thing that I don't understand why her team did it. It really has to make her look bad because the jury is not, they don't know what's going on social media wise.
Right.
They
which
don't
is
know.
scary.
I don't believe that for 5. I gotta say
they're not
supposed
supposed
to.
Did you see that? Did you see
I'm not
Amber Heard?
supposed to take a shit on an airplane, but I do.
Did you
That's a
see
bad example,
that
but
Amber Heard fired her PR people?
Mm-hmm.
Because of all the shit that was coming out about her. And it's like, how do you know this is coming out about you? You're not even supposed to be reading this crap.
Yep.
But her and her attorneys can.
No, they're not supposed to be doing any research at all outside of what's in the courtroom and what they've
well, with
given.
The makeup comment alone is proof they do.
Yeah.
So for Greta Birds, whatever Amber Heard's lawyer is, Greta Birds,
the lady that doesn't know how to be a lawyer, the one with the
old hag weirdo lawyer lady,
rotten face, whatever.
Yeah, in her opening statement, it was along the lines of Amber's a victim. She gets hit and gets bruises, and she carries around this makeup palette. You know, it has green and then skin tone, which for those who love makeup is a different kind of concealer, color correction concealer.
Right.
So while she's holding this up in her opening statement, you can see the brand of the specific concealer.
Milani.
Yes. So after the opening statement, whatever company that was, what did you say it was?
Milani.
So they said, well, here's her lie right here because that didn't come out till 2 years later. And it was a huge thing. It was a big ordeal. She's lying right then and there, but obviously, like, not taking sides here. But come on, you think that she really took her exact thing out of her purse? No, she found something similar.
No, but you see what she said when she got on the stand and they asked her the same question? She said it was similar to this.
Yeah, she changed.
So she pulls out, or she gets the makeup kit, like her exact, or not her exact one.
It was a Milani one that she took out.
And they bring it up to while she's on the stand saying, I call this my bruise kit. I used it to cover my bruise, blah, blah, blah. While she says, put on foundation, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, this isn't my exact one.
Yeah.
But it was similar.
It's similar. They changed
have
it.
Said that specifically if
Yeah.
they
No.
weren't looking at media. Because I tell you what, when I say it was everywhere on the media, it was everywhere.
Everywhere.
The one-
Especially
Mhm.
with the beauty gurus on YouTube, it was like everywhere.
Here's the thing that gets me.
Even
And-
Milani was like, you ain't about to lie about that shit.
Yeah.
Nope.
When she sat there and went, "This is my bruise kit," I just went, "What?" Because I went to college for film. I've still got a lot of colleagues and friends in film too, and she's an actress. She knows what a bruise kit is. A bruise kit is a legitimate thing.
Yeah.
A bruise kit, a disc kit of makeup, a bruise kit is 100% legitimate term used in the film industry to paint on bruises,
Yep.
not take them away, to put them
Yep.
on.
Well,
That's
didn't
what
her makeup
Wow.
artist say that she put on and off bruises? Or did I hear that wrong somewhere?
She has experience with bruises as far as covering them up and putting them on. Yeah.
And you notice how she covered them up every time, except for when she went to file for the restraining order.
Right.
She didn't cover it up that day. And then TMZ happened to show up. And then did you see where they showed her totally F up in the other trial because they ask her and she says something, and then she said, and TMZ was no, and then she goes like this, and then she acts like she's just rubbing her face. She about probably turded in her pants because she totally slipped up. If you didn't see that, that was hilarious.
Better there
Because
than
she
on the
knew.
bed.
Yep,
She
I
knew,
saw
I
that when she
mean-
slipped up that TMZ crap in her UK trial.
Yep.
I loved
yeah.
it when she went. I loved it when she went. I was in the bathroom putting on makeup when my friend came in there and said, "Oh, we got to go to the courthouse." Yeah, okay, you were putting on makeup, all right.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. She was doing it. It was
Right
doing
on.
it for it. It just happened to be the one time she didn't cover her bruises that she went to file,
Okay, so
and then TMZ showed
I
up.
know that we know what we're talking about, but for those that are watching, I know you guys don't know what we're talking about. So there's this there was when she was being cross-examined? Was she being cross-examined when she said this?
She,
Yeah, when she
yes.
spoke up about TMZ
Okay.
and when we talked about
Okay,
it was
so-
during the cross-examination.
So
Mhm.
what she was saying was that there was this one day that she didn't wear makeup and she was going to go to her court date. She walked into the bathroom, I believe, right? And she was about to get out and her friend was in the bathroom with her and was like, no, you need to put makeup on. Or no, don't put makeup on
Don't
because
put
we want to
makeup
see
on.
that bruise. So she
Yep.
didn't put makeup on. But it's kind of like, didn't she say that she always put makeup on before she left her house?
Every time, she said.
that one
Every
day-
time.
Son or something.
Yeah.
And here's the funny thing, and I've talked with family that I know that live in California. I have also watched videos lawyers are in, and I have dealt with helping someone get an ex parte in this state, and they're about the same all around. And that's what annoyed me is she goes, I had to go there to give testimony to get my ex parte. You don't.
No.
You don't. You don't go to the courthouse. That gets sent in. And the courthouse doesn't know about it until it gets sent in. So
Right.
there's no other way the other team would, or the paparazzi would have known about it. To turn around and say, "Oh, because it was public information." No, that was. And one person I was watching, and I also had, of course, a friend of mine that lives in California said the same thing. That courthouse, it's illegal to take pictures inside of.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cheryl, they can't because that case is closed. Now, if it was part of this case, then yes, but they could only bring things that were said by witnesses into this case, but they can't. If there's a mess up, like you said, that like there's a screw up where they're like, oh, she was lying here or whatever. No, they can just bring up instances where she said one thing in the UK case, but another in this case. That's the only time they can, I guess, cross-examine the two videos, right? Because they've done that several times, but they can't add on another like what would you call it? They can't add another.
He's even if he won this case, repealing the case in the UK, he still wouldn't win because his loss of that was he did not show enough evidence that the son was being malicious. The son was
they
using the
can't
evidence
bring
they
up
got
anything
from her.
anymore because it's already a closed case, no matter
Yeah.
what.
Well, I don't know what their appeals laws are. If it were in the States, he'd still be able to appeal it. Even if it gets lost, his lawyers could file appeal to try to get it going again, depending.
Okay, so we are down to 15 minutes. My best friend Tia is going to go live after us at 9 p.m. Central. Tia, you're welcome to throw in your channel link and link to your live. Now, hopefully we can get to a little bit more of what happened today. Now, Ruby, we are continuing this Friday night, correct?
Yes, on my channel.
Yeah, and I have a
so-
whole list of notes here that we didn't really get a chance to talk about, so we are going to be, yeah.
So
I think we all have a whole list of notes.
wait, time out real quick. So I have my little squishy thing. No, so on Friday, I'm actually going to be going on at 9 p.m. Okay. CST, right? Right, Crash? CST?
Yeah,
Central?
Just say
Yeah,
Central,
Central.
yeah.
9 p.m. Central because I have to wake up early to drive to Albuquerque in the morning. So, I mean, you know, my lives are really long. I could even do it at 8:30 all the way up to like 10, 11, if that's what, you know.
Don't take a wrong turn while you're there.
I'm home all the time and don't do nothing, so whenever it's good, I'll be there.
Okay.
Sorry. I had to make it
So
off.
with what happened
Thank you for the
today-
super chat. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. So what happened today, Amber's sister came on, right? And the thing that confused me was that didn't Johnny say that Amber's sister and him were really freaking close?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't seem that way today.
Nope.
But here's the thing. I also believe that her sister was being more honest about everything that was happening than her, other than the part with the stairs, because it seemed very similar to what Amber said. Now, here's another thing. What I'm learning in my criminal justice class is that if two stories are similar, then they are definitely, how would I say it? They are definitely,
Collaborating.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're
To what
definitely.
extent? It seems like there's no winning there. The way I'm imagining it, because if you say something was different, the shirt was blue, and
Stories
someone says it was-
change. Stories change every time you tell them. If they are two alike, that means that they were planned stories. They were
Right.
how do you say it?
Rehearsed.
Rehearsed.
They were rehearsed.
They were
Yeah.
rehearsed.
Yep.
So
They were
no.
coached.
A prime
So-
example of that would be if you have one person during their testimony go, and when he pushed her, I thought of this, and I swung, and I actually landed a punch. I landed it in all of my relationships. The first one I landed. And then when the next person goes up to testify, goes, yeah, he pushed me, and then she finally landed a punch. That is too similar.
No, a blow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anything similar like that, using the same words, using the same sentence, sequence of events, that can show you that it's a lie, that they both are working together to tell the same story. Now, like you said, if it was more like he landed a punch on my face and the other person said, oh yeah, that person punched me in the face, then you know, okay, maybe one of these two is telling the truth, or both of them are telling the truth, or one of them or both of them are lying, whatever. The whole point is that the story is different, and you have to pick at every single little thing that someone says, especially if they're defending that person, right? Because too many similarities is not okay in a case. That just shows you that no, this is way too similar.
Right. I have a question. So do any of you get this feeling? So, you know, when they were showing them from the other case, from the UK case, and let's say they did their testimony there, and then they came and did it here, and they're no longer even friends with her, but yet they still give the same story. Do any of you think that's just because they don't want to be admitting that they committed perjury, or that they actually feel like that's what
Rocky's was
happened?
not, like, there was one that was back from 2000. That wasn't Rocky, though. Are you referring to Rocky as they were friends, or now they're not?
The 2019 one was Rocky's husband.
Yeah.
Right. What I'm saying is, like, if they show any witness that
Any testimony from back then,
and then came and did it again, if they change their testimony this time, then they're openly committing perjury,
The
right?
depositions
So, do you
are
have
No.
the
They
case
can't have
started in
anybody
2000.
come from there. They can't come. They can't do that because this is not about abuse. This is a defamation about, like, for example, for the op-ed. It has nothing to do with the abuse. The only reason the abuse is coming up is because Amber mentions it in the op-ed. That's the only reason. But so
Okay.
What Shine is asking, Shine is
But
asking.
did Amber or any of those people that have been witnesses now, were they at the UK trial?
Rocky was. She said
Okay,
They
so
testified.
they testified.
The deposition that we saw today of Rocky's
Right.
ex-husband
That
is
was
Yeah.
not from the
UK.
It wasn't from the UK trial.
It wasn't. What was it
Okay.
from?
No, Johnny started the lawsuit back in 2019. At that moment, both sides start getting their depositions together. Depositions are sworn statements from witnesses or possible
Okay.
witnesses.
Yeah.
Right.
And in the event that they can't make it to the trial, their deposition can be used as testimony. So they are sworn statements for the current trial that has been going on. This trial has technically been going on since 2019. It's just now in the courts this month.
Right. Okay.
Now, yes, if they say something in the deposition, which is under oath, it is
Right.
testimony,
it's valid.
and then say something completely different,
Then it's detrimental.
then it is
Perjury.
illegal. Yes, it's
They're
perjury.
perjury. But I just felt like, okay, if somebody, let's say, was lying for her, they're no longer friends for whatever reason, but they still give the same testimony. Are they doing it because they don't want to admit that they, are admitting perjury, or because that's what they really think happened or remember happening? Do you know what I mean?
Possible, but
So real, because we're almost out of time. So the one that I wanted to bring up the most was Rocky. So
Yes.
Rocky was first questioned. Is that the right word? Questioned by Depp's team. During the questioning, she pulled a Crashley, as in somebody's talking to her, asking her questions, and she's staring off into space, rolling her eyes. I was like, this girl has ADD. Like, I ain't never seen ADD written on a face more than this girl.
Did you see her fake little cry too?
Yeah. Well, I'm getting to that. So she completely have, I don't want to be here, vibe going on. And, the questions were pretty straightforward, I think. But there was a lot of, I don't recall, I don't know. And she sighed like, she just wasn't having it.
She didn't want to be there.
That goes on as she's being questioned by Depp's team. So then Burger, no, the dude, whatever the dude's name is, lawyer, Amber's lawyer, Rockabooger comes on.
Rockabooger.
He comes on and asks, from what I could tell, pretty much the same questions, but geared towards, like, did you see bruises? Did you see injuries? Like, kind of a different direction. And then this girl, this Rocky chick, she's got a different outfit on. Her hair is now braided. She's like, I am ready to be a witness. Here I am. And she gets emotional when she's being asked about the violence, about
Amber,
injuries.
Though, I have to say, with the crying.
She was asked about violence and injuries by the first lawyer. But when she was asked it by Amber's lawyer, now she's getting emotional. Now she's with it. She turned Crashley mode off, and she's like in Jennifer mode, where it was like, she's paying attention. She sees through your soul, looking right at the person. And I'm just like, what a difference in demeanor there. And there were stories that were to the T of what Amber said. For example, the holding the dog out the window. Like, exactly. I was afraid to say anything or move too fast because I was afraid he was going to drop the dog. And the way they're saying that Johnny held a dog outside of a car window, because my dog sits on the window all the time with his head out, like, and I'm sitting there petting him. Am I holding my dog out? I mean, I don't know about
when that first came out about the dog, I was like, Johnny Depp? What?
I know.
What? Not the Mad
He might
Hatter.
not
What?
like Amber. I don't think he has anything against his dog.
Yeah,
Like-
I know. Like, what the hell did the dog do to you, bruh? Like,
Right. That just
don't
was that was
all right, remember, tomorrow is the last day for this week, Thursday. It's Monday through
Yes.
Thursday. For some reason, this week is an hour earlier, so
It is.
I don't know
I
why that
know.
happened, but I can't
I
wait
know,
for
for some
Friday.
reason in Pacific Standard Time. That's why I'm always behind, because like when it starts at 7 and my brain is like still
Yeah, and I just work from home, so I have it playing. But again, there
Yeah.
are lots of points in here that I didn't get to.
Yeah.
So whenever Ruby has a time locked down, I'll be sharing it. She'll be sharing it. So definitely come and join the conversation. I seriously love. I love my chats and all my lives because I love all of you. But tonight specifically, seeing your guys' input and different
And your
points
personal
brought up,
stories,
that's
too.
like
Yeah.
I've been holding this stuff in for so long.
Me too. I
Yeah.
keep trying to say
feels
something to people in my house and nobody else cares.
Right,
Yeah,
and
my
there's
husband
people in the
doesn't
chat
care.
that's like chiming in. It's a lot of fun. So I hope all these same
Yeah.
people come to Ruby's on Friday night. It was
Yeah.
really fun, and I don't know if
And if
Shine
there's
decided.
still more to share, if we all still feel like we want to talk about it,
She
I'm
said
on
if there's
Saturday
still
and
more
I
to share.
I will
know.
say something though. I want to say something real quick before we leave. I know this trial, like I said, it's about abuse and stuff like that. You do not have to talk about your experience if you don't feel comfortable talking about your experience. You know, I know this, like, you know, I don't know. I've never really been in Crashley's lives before, but I know she's a nice person and stuff, and I know her people are nice too. But like I said, when you guys come over to my stuff, like you guys are not obligated to be like, you guys should not feel like you're obligated to share your personal stories. You know what I'm saying? It's very sweet and nice.
You
that
guys
did
better
on
share
here.
your personal story. I'm just kidding. I don't care.
No, I'm just saying, like, you know, it's nice. I like, thank you for sharing your story in this live, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it didn't go unnoticed. I was reading the comments. I just didn't want to talk over everybody, you know?
Yeah. I think we all kind of were reading the comments, you know, as somebody else was talking, and there was a lot in there. And those are definitely appreciated.
Well, and keep in mind, the three of us had to have a conversation to make it a point not to talk over each other because we're all three talkers. So we did good. I think we did good.
Like, I think I muted
we're
myself
focusing.
at one point when I was trying to talk over somebody because I was like, "Shut up, Ruby! Shut the hell up!"
I'm sure I rolled my eyes at least 1,000 times because I never realized when I'm doing it because I was like,
I kept like almost saying something, and then I would go, like,
I was
because
right there.
yeah, we all kind of were joking about it before we started because we all are very vocal. Like, if we don't say it right now, and for me, if I don't say it right now, I'm going to forget. So I literally was writing notes down because I'm like, okay, otherwise I'm just gonna be like, okay, yeah, I don't remember what I was gonna say. So I was like having to write what I wanted.
This is the first time I go live with Shine, which is nice because I've never gone live with Shine.
I know. This last year, I haven't done a lot of extra stuff with, you know, anything because of just health crap. But I'm looking forward to a new year with more things like this because I think it'll be a lot of fun. I love going live with other people. It's a lot of fun.
And
I think everybody likes watching it.
With the like comments and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah. But I think people understand that when there's so many people in the live, and especially like depending on whose channel it is, like
Crashley did a good job with posting people's questions on the screen, which was nice because
I saw that.
Guys. So I just changed the settings of this live stream. COVID. Sorry, that was a reflex. What did I just say? I changed the settings on the stream for this new redirect feature. So I'm going to end the stream now, and I'm going to see if you all magically go to Tia's live.
Ooh,
so yeah,
cool.
I'll see you in that chat, and let me know if the redirect worked.
I will.
I feel like I'm forcing you to do something. Please don't post an op-ed about me. And
no, y'all better go to Tia's live.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
Lives are fun, so why wouldn't you want to go to it?
Yep. See you all Friday night. Love you.
Stick around for the raid.
Thank you for having us, Crashley.
Yes, thank you.